optimist. One suit likes to have a glass of wine, and one suit is the businessman. And so I've become fairly good at making people realize that I'm not going to screw up a project, and that I'm going to see it to its end, and that it's going to be high quality. And so as the more projects that I finish, the more confidence the money people will have. But then, of course, we come into that whole thing of, is money part of the archonic forces and all of that. And I don't know, my real feeling is that somebody's got to try to do this.
Of course, yeah, of
And
course.
as a wealthy friend of mine says, Jay, if you don't do it, don't worry. There's 5 guys sitting on the bench who are waiting to take your place. So I'm hoping that, if I falter, if I fail, which is highly likely, that there will be somebody, maybe you, who will rise up and say, no, now it's my turn to try. And we keep going forward trying to, create the singularity, the gnosis that's going to end history, which is what I think is really going on here.
Wow, that's amazing. Yeah, exactly. That's a very good attitude, I think, and maybe even not to think in the terms of that this is a big problem, rather think in terms of that this is something that if the creative force is willing to supply the necessary things, it will find a way to make it happen. That's what I believe,
I do too, and when you understand the hypersphere and hyperdimensional space, you understand that everything is created out there first, and that it falls down into our realm after it's created. So everything that we discover, everything that happens here in this world, has already been formed and created in the hypersphere. So I don't really even feel that, it's me doing it. I think it's just the hypersphere trying to make it happen, and it's looking for any way that it can to get that to happen. And if I happen to be the conduit of that, then so be it. If someone else is the conduit, so be it. And we just have to take a deep breath. We have to look at what's going on, and we have to let the future happen in the way that it's supposed to happen. And that's why I don't delve into fear and the nightmare of the current reality, because what good is that going to do anybody?
Yeah, exactly. And I think that it has to do with the fact that also, I think it's a balance again there between there, meaning that it's nothing wrong with recognizing that it's, very dark out there, as it were, or very, awful things are happening on this planet, and we are in that sense in a lot of trouble, and the news that is coming out is dark, and it's war and all of that. But it's one thing to actually recognize it and seeing it for what it is, meaning that you don't, as it were, try to escape from reality, because to some extent that is part of our reality at least. But the key, I think, is to not become so emotionally involved in it, meaning that you don't have to feel depressed about it just because it's out there or it exists. Would you agree on that?
I do. I agree completely. And again, if there are archons, then they want you to be thinking as negative as possible, because that's what feeds them. So
yeah.
The only way to combat them is to kill them with kindness, And I think, Gandhi and Martin Luther King, had the right way of going about getting something to change,
Mm-hmm.
There's a great scene in the movie Gandhi where the British military officer walks up to Gandhi and says, "What, do you expect us just to run out of India?" And Gandhi, very nicely says, "Oh no, you can walk. It's fine." That's how I feel.
Yeah, exactly. Hey, listen, Jay. I mean, again, this has been a absolutely amazing interview, and I want to, again, thank you so much for being here with us and sharing your wonderful information and research and your work and what you're doing. But again, before we finish up things completely here, I want to give you the the opportunity for you to mention what films you have out there and how people that are interested in finding out more, how they can get them also.
Yeah, so they just go to sacredmysteries.com, and that's where all our films are for sale. If they're interested in my free articles on on J.R.R. Tolkien or Stanley Kubrick or hyperdimensional space, they can go to my website, jweidner.com, Jweidner, and read them all. They're all up there for free. There's a new book coming out, or just come out, called The Mystery of 2012, which has many, many writers about 2012, and I'm in there with my article, essay, The Time in the Hypersphere. And as for the films, I've got 2013, Time Wave 2013, The Future is Near, Infinity, No One Gets Out of Here Dead, The Alchemy Code, and we're doing one on the secret space missions of NASA with Richard Hoagland, which will be out next year. Just a lot going on, and stay tuned and keep watching, and God willing, everything is going to be just fine.
That's right, and head on over to sacredmysteries.com and get a copy, or one or two or three of those excellent DVDs that Jay has up there, and that would help also, I guess, to further research, further projects as well, isn't it right, Jay?
That's right. The more that you buy and help out, we're not living high on the hog here. We live in a very small house, and I have a 15-year-old car. I don't spend any of the money on me. I just put it back into the projects. I'm really not interested too much in the material world as far as having a lot of objects and things. I do like to have good food, and I do like a good bottle of wine occasionally. But other than that, I'm fairly satisfied with my state of being.
Sounds good. Again, Jay, thank you so much for coming on. This has been a pleasure, and I'm looking forward to whenever you have time, of course, doing any interview again with you, and as more projects that you have out on the line, and would love to help to promote and talk about the DVD so people know, what they're about and what they're getting, basically.
Well, I really appreciate it, and I'll be sending you along every film that comes out.
Wow, thank you. Okay, looking forward to speaking to you again, Jay. Take care, and all the best.
You too.
Troubled boy, just because you like to destroy all the things that bring the idiots joy. Well, what's wrong with a little destruction? And the cooks won't talk to you, cause you're kissing a roller with Jew, cause you're on the supermarket or two. Well, who gives a damn about the